Cradles and jelly spoons, welcome back to Badgerworks. Today, this is another Airfix starter kit. It's a 1/72 Supermarine Spitfire Mk.1a. So it's similar to kits we looked at before. It's got the brushes and the paints and the glue and everything in it. But what we're going to do with this plane is something a little bit different. We're going to build it and then we're going to wreck it. Yeah. Basically, this is going to form part of a diorama of a crashed aircraft. Something that seems to be quite popular. I thought I'd give it a go and see how we get on. And this is the plane that I've chosen to try it out on. So, let's open the box and see what we've got. So, first things first, we've got the paint and the brushes and the glue. The glue I don't use. It's alright, but it's not really any good for me. We've got the 4 paints, which we might use. I doubt it, but we might. The brush, which is a standard one they put in these kits, is a Airfix No. 2 brush. They're actually not bad brushes, as it goes. I've got quite a few of these now, and I do actually use them. They're quite handy. So we'll keep that, definitely put that to one side. As I say, the paints, I don't know, don't really need them. But they're there if you don't have them, so that's a good start. The instructions are fairly typical for these starter kits. They're all in black and white, but they're actually not bad instructions. I mean, they're very basic kits. I mean, there's literally like 4 steps. That's it. So yeah, but you know, they're fairly clear, so that's okay. As for the kit itself, at first glance it appears fairly typical of these starter sets. Actually, it looks like it's got a lot of detail on it, surface detail, which is nice. Let's take it out of the bag. So one thing I'm kind of hit and miss about with these is they put the clear parts in another plastic bag. Which is nice because it protects the parts, but it's also another plastic bag to deal with, but never mind. As for the kit itself, 2 frames, and yeah, actually, first glance, doesn't look too bad. There's a lot of detail on it. Let's have a quick look at the box for a second. Now, see, this is quite interesting because it says Model Design and Tooling 2010. So this is, what, nearly 10 years old, this kit. And yet, it looks far better quality, shall we say, than the Focke-Wulf that we built from the same series, which was a later kit, which is weird. But yeah, there's a lot of detail on it. I mean, look at all the detail inside. It's got all the, well, it's got controls, it's got the door. There's a lot going on there. Yeah, I'm quite impressed with that, actually. Yeah, well done, Airfix. Yeah, there's a lot of detail on the wings. There's a lot of detail inside the wings. I mean, considering this was a 5er, I don't think we've done too bad with this at all. It doesn't look like there's a lot of flashing on it. And again, this is something that they do, I think, with these starter kits, because the other one had the same. It's got 2 sets of undercarriage. So you've got the struts and everything for the undercarriage down, and then you've got another set with the wheels incorporated to put the undercarriage up, which is actually quite nice because it makes, if you know, whichever one you want to do, if you want the undercarriage up, it's much easier to use these than it is to have to assemble the undercarriage and then fit it. So, yeah. Yeah, so I must say, on the whole, I'm quite impressed with this so far. Right. What else have we got? The decal sheet. Again, the decals actually look quite nice. Yeah, not bad at all. And it's actually got a lot more decals than the Focke-Wulf had, which I think had about 6 decals in all. This has got a lot. one thing that actually is quite interesting is it's got the red squares for the wings, the tape that was used to cover the gun ports on the wings, and the reason they did that was to stop cold air going down the barrels of the guns and freezing the gun before it had a chance to fire. Yeah, it was something they found very early on, that when the planes first took off, when they got up to altitude, the cold air would go down the barrel of the gun and basically freeze the mechanism, so the gun couldn't fire. So they started putting this, just putting a bit of canvas over the gun port to stop the air going into the gun until it was fired. I mean, normally you have to paint those on, and these are included as decals, which is nice. So, yeah. On the whole, I have to say, so far I'm quietly impressed with this. And what I've also got here is a photo etch set for this plane. Bren gun, again. It's actually not the right set. This is for a Mark 9, and obviously we're building a Mark 1. But there are only certain parts out of this set that I want, so it will do for what I want to do. So let's pop this out of the packet and see what we've got here. So there's actually a lot more parts in here than I thought, and I think some of them are going to come in really handy. So I'm not going to use all of them, but the main pieces I wanted were the undercarriage covers and a few other bits. But this is actually a really good set. I've just been looking at the plans for it. It's got almost the entire cockpit. So there's the cockpit side, so there's one there with the door open and one with the door closed. They also include the door. There's the front and rear panels, the rudder pedals, seat mount, seat back. There's just everything. It's literally the entire cockpit. There's even the control column, seat belts obviously, and various other bits. It's a really nice little set. But one of the other things it includes, which is actually going to, I think, be quite handy, this part here is actually a radio, and that goes behind the pilot, and that will, I think, come in useful for an idea that I've got. But you can see here, once you put all this together, it's basically the entire cockpit, which is, yeah, it's quite clever, really. Anyway, let's get on with the kit. Now, normally I'd start by working on the cockpit, but instead what I'm going to do is, because I want to have some damage on the back of the plane, I'm going to use this rotary tool and just thin the plastic on the back so that I can make some shrapnel damage at the back of the plane. And there you can see I've actually gone as close as I can. It's actually started to deform slightly, but that's fine. I mean, what I want is to make some holes in the outside, but I also want it to look like it's hit the ground hard and buckled the aluminium. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to keep going, do a bit more, do the other side as well. And I'm also going to do some on the tail and the trailing edges of the wings.
Tuned in to MCM moon. Drop the moon. Drop the moon.
north. President Roosevelt said in a statement today that the Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii from the air. I'll repeat that. President Roosevelt says that the Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor in Hawaii from the air.
We will interrupt all programs to give you latest news bulletins. Stay tuned to this station.
And here is the finished article. I'm very pleased with how this came out. It came out pretty much exactly how I had imagined it before I started. The next step for this model is to build a diorama for it to go on. So that'll be in a future video. So I hope this video has been of interest to you. It's certainly been good fun for me. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers. Bye.